Well, welcome and thank you for logging on. We'll begin in just a few minutes. We'll give folks a few more minutes to join the call, so bear with us. Well, hi, I'm Rick Walls, Vice President and COO of Better Business Bureau serving Northern Indiana. I'd like to welcome you to our July Lunch and Learn. Today, we'll hear about Google and how to make it work for your business. The BBB is here to support you through the coronavirus crisis and beyond. It's a new journey for all of us, but we're here for you. Please reach out to us anytime. We'll do everything we can to assist you. Just a few housekeeping items. Everyone is on mute. Questions can be submitted anytime throughout the presentation via your chat box. Your questions will be answered at the end of the presentation. So today's content will be presented by BBB's Manager of Digital Strategy, Gerald Vandeveer, and Damien Poll from Fort Wayne digital marketing firm Brandermind. Gerald joined BBB in January of 2018 and is responsible for managing BBB's multiple digital visibility programs, including Google Ads, enhanced listings, and trusted advice. And after 5 years as social media manager for various local businesses, Damien recognized the changing way people were utilizing the internet and shifted in the digital marketing space, joining Brandermind as their Google Ads certified manager. Damien will do everything he can to help businesses use the power of Google to their fullest advantage. Now I'll turn it over to Gerald and Damien.
Hello, I'm Gerald Vandeveer, Manager of Digital Strategy here at the BBB.
And I am Damien Poll, the Director of Digital Marketing at Brandermind.
All right. So first, I would just like to look at this slide here. You know, that's one of the big questions we get quite often. And that question is, do Google Ads work? And, you know, the short answer is, yeah, absolutely. There's no question about it. The big question here is the amount of experience you have using it, how well you know how to use it. That's it. I like to use the analogy of a basketball. A basketball, you know, you spend $40 and you hand me a basketball. What's your return on investment? Probably zero, because I don't know what to do with it. I mean, yeah, I can bounce it, but no one's going to pay me to do that. Now, you hand that over to LeBron James, and now you've got something. That basketball can draw in $156 million over the next 4 years. So we're looking at a completely different thing, and that's based on his experience and expertise. So it is not the same thing when somebody who doesn't know what they're doing gets in here versus someone who does. That is just the most important thing to remember. If you've ever done it or you've ever seen something fail, that's why. You know, actually, let's just jump right into it. Damien, why don't you tell us about the 3 main types of Google Ads?
Sure. The first type of Google ad is the Google search ad. Search ads are the text ads that are displayed on the Google results pages. The benefit of the search ads is that you're displaying your ads in the place where the most searches on the internet take place, on Google. And Google shows your ad in the same format as the other results, so you're accustomed to seeing and clicking on those results. The next type of ad is called a display ad. Google has a network of websites in the various industries and with an array of audiences that opt into the Google ads, known as the Google Display Network. The benefit to the website owner is that they're paid per click or impression on the ads. And the benefit to the advertiser is that they can get their content in front of audiences that are aligned with their personas. These are typically the image ads that you see and that draw attention away from the content on the web page on the top and bottom of the page. The next is retargeting ads. Google Ads retargeting or remarketing is a form of online advertising that enables sites to show targeted ads to users who have already visited their site. Past visitors will see these ads while they're browsing the web, watching YouTube videos, or reading news sites, for example, keeping your brand top of the mind and enticing visitors to come back for more.
I've seen a lot of these things running, and when I go shopping, I go check out some shoes or something. Then all of a sudden, I'll see those shoes everywhere. So, I've seen them, but I do they really work?
They do work when they're done right. Google says 74% of Google remarketing ads lead to customers returning and making a purchase.
Wow, that's like 3 out of 4 consumers that have visited your site will come back if you retarget them. That's incredible. And obviously, it's probably going to rely on it being done well. So why do these Google ads work? Let's say I'm just a local small business. What can Google advertising do for me?
The first thing that it will do is it'll increase your brand visibility. The modern client in any field is far more selective now than they were even as recent as 10 years ago. So they're far more effective than the ads on TV, radio, or newspapers. Google Ads is the most economical and efficient way to get fresh eyes on you and your business. They also allow you to distinguish yourself from your competitors. Shoppers bounce all over the internet looking for reviews, looking for Facebook pages, really for any way to get to know you before they commit to a call or a visit. The more relevant and the more professional your ads are, the more likely they are to do a deeper dive into your company, thereby taking the first steps on their path to being curious to being a client. And the big thing is it comprises 97% of Google's revenue. So Google's incentivized their ad format to work. It drives their entire revenue sheet. The more efficient, the more successful its advertisers are, the more money they make. And the bottom line is your businesses are the lifeblood of the Google machine. They want you to be as wildly successful as possible because, as they say, a rising tide raises all boats.
Okay. So as a small local business here in our service area, how are these ads going to work for like me specifically?
The Google ads allow you to be flexible. They allow you to make your campaigns as amorphous as you like. You can bend it and stretch it and shape it however the analytics dictate. Whether it's variable keywords, visual ad extensions that allow people to call you directly from the website, or truly hyper-targeted capabilities of audience creation, Google's let you design your campaigns in really any way you can imagine. They're also measurable. Essentially, you can track every dollar that you spend. There's no need to throw money at home mailers and newspapers anymore. You can now measure and control exactly where your money has gone and make informed, data-driven decisions on how you wish to proceed going further. And finally, they're scalable. It allows you to identify ads and placements that aren't working and let you cleave them clean off. Conversely, you can also see where your sweet spots are and funnel all your budget into avenues that are converting directly to your bottom line.
Wow, that sounds awesome. It sounds like you've got some really good capabilities as far as being able to dial in to exactly who you want to hit, and kind of niche out your offerings. So if if you've got something small and specific, you can really dial into those people, which that's, if anyone's ever done business, they know that the niche is where you make your sale. No one goes out and says, I've got cars, and that's the sale. It's a specific thing. So being able to niche down into exactly what you want seems like that'd be an ideal way to reach somebody.
That's true. The first thing you need to know is that your competition is using it. There's a heavily competitive market within all industries to get your company name and your results in the front of customer eyeballs. If you're not advertising, you're doing your own business a tremendous disservice, and you're doing your direct competitors a measurable favor.
Okay, so why do I need Google Ads? What if I'm happy with word of mouth or newspaper ads or just going off my reputation?
Not only is your competition using it, but they're also more efficient. I touched on this earlier, but the old methods of radio, TV, and newspaper ads are basically just random shots in the dark. You never know who's seeing your ads. You literally have no idea if people in the market for your services even know who you are. But with Google Ads, you can explicitly dictate who your ads are going to and driven towards, and focus your entire advertising budget into the funnels of your specific consumer demographic.
Okay.
And the final thing is customers are evolving, and you have to keep up or risk being left behind. These days, people want to be armed with facts, figures, pictures, testimonials, really any bit of info they can get before they commit to engage with you. The more comprehensive your marketing campaigns are, from ads to website to the impression they get from your logo, all these factors create an impression in their mind. The modern consumer will only take you as serious as you take yourself. So the more professional your brand appears from top to bottom, the more likely people are to take the steps to begin a relationship with you and your specific services.
All right.
Gerald, do you have any advice for local businesses on distinguishing themselves from the crowd in your time from the BBB?
Yeah, there's a couple things. Firstly, I would, one, have a logo. Your name written down in text is not anything that's what you do if you work in an alley. Do better. Realize that this is your business, and it's the same thing if you go out somewhere and you're going to take somebody your brand new car to have them work on it. You're not going to take it down some back alley with some guy who's got like it spray painted on the side of his garage that he does oil changes. That's crazy. What you would do is you judge a business based on the looks of their advertising and everything else. And the last thing I'd say is, do not rely solely on word of mouth. A small anecdote that from personal experience here, I got a call from a guy who's been running a company. I'm not going to say who, but it's been around for 102 years. 102 years this thing has been in his family. And, everything was going great. And last year, two new companies, it's a HVAC company. So two new companies come in and they start advertising, and he saw it. And he's, that's fine. They're not going to get all my customers. All these guys are loyal, and, I do good work. But what happened was these guys made offers. These guys were advertising and saying, hey, you know what? You sign up for this contracted experience here, and you're going to, we'll take care of you all year long. Well, these people signed up for it. And then when he started calling the next season, no one was available to work with him because they had all signed contracts, with these other companies. So now he was sitting there calling us, trying to figure out what to do, trying to seek help. We helped him. He's still in business. But the main thing is, if you don't care enough about getting your consumers, if someone else is going to reach out and make it simple, they're going to go with that guy. It's just that simple. No one's going to spend an inordinate amount of time trying to hunt you down because they heard somebody said your name. It's just not a realistic thing, especially today, because word of mouth used to be different before COVID. Before COVID, we hung out places. There were bars that you would go and hang out with your friends at, and churches and events and things like that. That's not a thing right now. So we have to adjust, and everyone has to be nimble in this market so they can be where their consumers are. Now I'll move on to the question and answers with the BBB Director of Communications, Nicole Thomas. She's going to read your questions that you submitted via chat.
Okay, thank you. The first question I have is, how do I know if I should hire someone to do this for me?
That one, I think you just have to judge for yourself. Sort of like I wouldn't jump in and grab a welder and hope to gosh I did it right and try and weld the frame of my car. You probably shouldn't do that with your business if you don't know what you're doing. It's made to be simple, but one thing to remember is Google's not like Google's a business. They want your money, and that's one of the things they're going to do is spend that money. Like if you send them money, they're going to put ads out there. How effective those ads are, all the tricks to making sure they show to the right people. Do you want to hit 100,000 people that have no interest in what you have to offer, or do you want to hit 10,000 people that are highly interested and ready to buy? That's going to be the big difference there. You can spend a boatload of money and it's basically just throwing it out the window, or you can have somebody who is an expert at it do what they're experts at while you do what you're an expert at, which is running your business, maintain the day-to-day operations, doing all those things. The trick is going to be find somebody that's trustworthy and reliable.
Thanks. Okay, as a reminder, you guys can submit your questions via the chat. I did want to read this one, and then I got another one, so we have at least two more. What is the normal amount of money to spend as a business on Google advertising?
Damien, you want to take this one?
Sure. Google recommends about $50 a day, and now we recognize that not everyone can afford that, but between $50 and really however much you want to spend. But you have to be very careful, because this is where you can get into a lot of trouble if you're spending money on ads, but they're not super focused or going to the right places. Just like radio, TV, for example, you will kind of waste your money. So it's important to have a lot of things sort of dialed in and lined up. You need to be testing your ads, making sure you have various versions of them, just to see what's working and what's not. The way your money, you can see where it's going, and you know that you're comfortable with the results you're getting and not just wasting it.
Okay.
Okay, we just had one come in from Lee on chat, and this one says, how defined can I make my target market? For example, if I want to target people with a specific medical issue who buy cookbooks, is that possible?
Yep.
I think that.
Go ahead.
Yeah, you can definitely really laser target your audiences down to zip codes, to history on the internet, things they're looking for, people with medical histories, cookbooks. People are looking for different types of cookbooks, different ways to make food for themselves specifically. You can definitely target all these things down from location to personality to income levels. It really allows you a whole wide range of targeting. That way you're specifically sending your ads to these sort of people, and you're skipping all the people who would not be interested, and all your money and your ads go to the people who would be interested in whatever specific thing you're looking to sell.
Right.
Okay, this one here is there anything that I should look out for? Like, are there, cautions that you would be able to share with us?
I got one on this. I'm gonna be honest with you. Contracts. I just am thinking. Let's be honest here. What is the contract for? Is the contract really there in case you run out of money or something? No, it's there in case they don't deliver, and you still have to pay. That's all it is. Otherwise, why would there? Just ask yourself, why am I signing a year for this? What if it doesn't work? Well, what if it doesn't work? Now you're stuck in a contract for 12 months and you're paying whatever you're paying for 12 months. And, the places that do that, that are most notorious for it, are the ones who don't do that as their real job. They're doing something to offset what their normal revenue is. Key component with that would be like other forms of media like newspaper, TV, radio. If they don't have a digital department in-house, then that means they're going to farm it out, which means you're going to pay somebody else. And something that you really need to think about here is especially if it's a cheap one. So let's say they come to you with some whiz bang offer that's $300. You've got to pay somebody to sell it to you. Then you've got to pay somebody else to fulfill it for you. And then you got to pay somebody more overhead. And then there's other guys in there. So what do you really think you're getting off that? It's not much. So the best thing to do is exactly what you do when you're going out shopping. You go direct to the manufacturer. The moral of the story is no long-term contracts. That's where it's at. If you can do that, then you know what you've done. At that point, you put the responsibility to deliver on them. And now it's like, okay, I'll pay you. And common sense would tell you if you're doing something that's going to make you money, then yeah, you're going to continue doing it. The contract is unnecessary. If you pay $300 and get $1,500, it's kind of a given. You're going to continue doing that.
Thanks. All right, here's another question. This is from Jeremy. What's the most effective type of advertising for a startup web business when you have a very limited budget?
I'll let you take that one, Damien.
Yeah, I'll take that one. The most effective, Google ads, search and display ads are by far the most effective. And regardless of your budget, if you know exactly what you're trying to, what your return you're looking for, if you're looking for people to sign up for something, if you're looking for email addresses, if you're looking for traffic to your website or traffic to your storefront, as long as you have a pretty clear idea on what you would consider to be a successful conversion, even with a limited budget, you can tailor and focus your ads to get the results that you want and make yourself money doing that.
Yeah, because you want to start out something slow and focused, and basically what you want to do is niche that out. So you're hitting the exact people you want. You don't want to do the thing where you're drawing in new customers and turning them into new customers. You want to focus out the people are actually looking for you. So dial those people in, create that persona, and there's ways to do that.
Okay, I have a follow-up question from Lee. Are there statistics on how well Google Ads work?
There are statistics. From Google themselves, they say that for every $1 you spend on advertising, the average return ROI on your $1 is $8. So as long as you are not just throwing your ads in all different directions, as long as you're focused and you know exactly who you're advertising to and what you're trying to sell, 8 times is the average return according to Google.
Great. All right. So far, we have 2 more. If you have any questions, now is the time to get them into chat so we can make best use of your time. The next question is, what are the top 3 things that I need to have dialed in to be effective with Google advertising?
I can take that one as well, Gerald. No problem.
Okay.
One of the first things you want to, the top 3, number 1 is maintaining your budget, understanding how much money you want to spend, and making sure that your budget's being allotted effectively and appropriately in the avenues that you want to. You also have to be you have to be a little creative. You have to run variable ads. You have to make up multiple versions of the ads and see which ones people are clicking on and which ones aren't. Then you can weed out the ones that aren't working, and then you can take a deeper dive into your effective ones and see what part of that ad people seem to like. And then as you create more ads down the road, you're armed with that information of what resonates with people online with your company and advertise in that direction.
Awesome. I think that's great. And one thing that I would add here is, you always want to use the rifle versus shotgun approach on these things. And dial in exactly on what you're looking at. Don't try and sit there and just do broad things that you think everyone is using. You have to base this on nomenclature. If you do a search in Google and you look up Windows, you have to think Google is a machine. Google is a machine. Okay, so it's trying to figure out, are you talking about windows in your house, car windows, Windows operating system, boat windows? You talking about skylight windows? Like, what are you talking about? You just said windows. So narrow it down. It's called a long tail search term, but that's where you're gonna have the most success on those things. But then, I mean, you've got, like Damien said, you've got to make variant testing. The variant testing is how you're going to know if you're doing it right. So you set up 4 or 5 different ads that are almost the same, but slightly different. The nomenclature is different. What are they calling it? Is it a front door, an entry door? Like, what exactly are they looking for? But then not only what are they looking for, what do they call it? One of the things I like to do when I'm dealing with a business, especially a large one that has multiple things, multiple avenues of revenue stream, I go and talk to the salespeople and the receptionists, and I'm like, what do people call it? What are they asking for? Like when they talk to you, I have a unique understanding of it inside and out. So if somebody comes to me asking for, comes and asks you about a welder and you sell welders, you're going to know way more than they are. Their questions may be entry level questions. So you have to be able to bridge that gap for them. Which things are they doing? Which one's coming in? How's it going? Are they looking to buy, looking to learn? What's their intention? User intention's a big thing. There's a lot. If you really want to get these things driving, you're gonna have to focus in multiple areas.
All right, and then this will be our last question. It comes to us again from Lee, and he asks, does placing a Google ad that contains your web address increase your SEO?
Anytime somebody comes to your website, it increases your SEO. SEO is based off a bunch of signals. Nobody knows exactly what they are. There's a lot of guesses and stuff, but I mean, I'll tell you the simple way to figure this out. Everyone acts like Google's this big, scary enigma and it's super confusing and, it's got stars in it. It's not. Google is a business, and think like a business. Okay. As a business, Google wants people to use its search tool. So in order for that to happen, it has to deliver good results. If it doesn't deliver good results, then you go to Bing or you go to someone else. Same thing as any other business. So Google wants to deliver the best results. So be the best result. If you want good SEO, don't use the exact same stuff. Especially if you're selling products. I saw the online business one. If you're selling products, you got to come up with your own product descriptions. 1,500%. You have to do that. Otherwise, there's a bit of confusion around that one. I'll touch on that in a second. But it is a business, especially with their ads, because that's the part where they make their money. So they want those ads to line up exactly with what you're selling, what that page that they land on looks like. Never point it back to your home page, because what is that telling anyone? Nothing. They're looking for a specific bit of information. Answer that question. If you're trying to get out there for DVD players, don't be, oh, I got a DVD sale. You can, but that's going to be guys looking for the bargain basement stuff. If you're looking to actually sell somebody something good, then you need to actually tell them about it. Why is it good in your own words? And the reason that that will kind of hurt you if you just use the canned stuff or use somebody else's, man, they explain this really well. I'm just going to take this off their website and use it. Google has a thing they call duplicate content. People kind of confuse it with it being a penalty. It's not a penalty. It doesn't hurt you. It just doesn't show you. And the reason being is kind of common sense. If you go to Google and you were to look up entry doors, and there was this really great article about entry doors, and 55 people were using it, then the first 55 results would be these websites. They show the one that they want to, whether it be because it is the most relevant, the most valuable to consumers, meaning more people are watching that one and looking at that one and reading that one, then they're going to show that one first because it's the most impactful and relevant to the people. So it's the same thing. If you want to go SEO, doing things like adding little things into ads, they may or may not. I can't 100% say they don't factor, but it's not anything major. If you really want to factor in there, have something that people care about that you've said. Have a really good reason to put a deck on or create a pergola or whatever. Like, talk about that part, what it does. Does it add value to your home? Do it in a way that it's not just you selling stuff. No one wants to come. Have you ever gone to a website hoping that there's a sales pitch on there for you? No. So view it from your customer. What's going to be valuable to them? That's going to be your SEO sniper shot right there.
Great. All right. Well, thank you so much to Gerald and Damien for being with us today. We are out of time to be respectful of your 30 minutes, but we really want to thank everybody for attending our BBB Lunch and Learn. Hopefully you can join us in July for our next Lunch and Learn. This session was recorded and will be available for viewing next week. Just watch our social media, Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn for it to be dropped there. Have a great rest of your day.
Thanks.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.